Hello and welcome to my little review of a very special, rare and expensive Kalashnikov. This is the Izhmash SR1, also known as the AK-107. So, first of all, the rifle comes packaged in a styrofoam typed box. It's a pretty big box. Unfortunately, we didn't get some kind of a hard case or plastic case. This is pretty much useless. Opening the box, the first thing we get are the warranty information, a service manual, and a certificate. Besides that, we also get some cleaning kit, a charging handle, some M-lock rails, and a additional safety. Also 2 additional springs, just in case if something would have happened to the originals. So moving the rifle aside, behind here we have a cleaning rod, nothing really special, standard AK rod. And here's a space for 2 additional 30-round Magpul magazines, which I did not receive due to the new laws that are in effect, so I can only have 10 or 5-round magazines now, unfortunately. So looking at the paperwork, here we have some warranty information and some warnings. Here we have a service manual and a little certificate. Quickly browsing through the service manual, we can see the detailed sketches of the AK, how it's completely disassembled, assembled. Here we have the 30-round magazines that I cannot get, unfortunately, and some other useful information regarding the AK and how it's disassembled, and some technical specifications. As mentioned before, a couple of additional springs, and this little box contains a cleaning kit, an additional charging handle, an M-lock rail, a safety, and what appears to be a bipod M-lock rail. So here's the SR1, a 9-pound gas-operated rotary bolt balanced recoil system rifle. At the back here we have a polymer stock made by CIA, adjustable in length, a rubber butt plate, and fits any AR style butt stock. An ergonomic pistol grip, compatible with an AK standard, ambidextrous magazine push button, charging handle and safety, a standard magwell that fits most AR magazines, a top Picatinny rail for mounting accessories, and in the front we have a free-floating barrel with a polymer handguard with integrated Picatinny rail on the top, some markings made in Russia, the Kalashnikov Group concern logo, on the other side it says Izhmash, and manufacturing date 2019. Also, can't forget that in the front we have a standard compensator with a fret 1.5 by 28, so you can pretty much mount anything on it. Here I have a Magpul PMag 10-round magazine. I'm only limited to 10-round magazines due to the new law, so unfortunately I can't put in anything bigger. It looks quite pathetic, but what can I do? Here we have a magazine release, which is ambidextrous on both sides. On the other side it's much heavier to press, so I prefer the left side. And here we have a bolt release on both sides. You simply push it up so that it engages and you can have your bolt locked in place. Yeah, it definitely needs a little bit of oil. And here's the safety. I think safety is pretty stupid. This is one of the things that I immediately dislike, the safety position and how it is engaged. I much prefer the old style safety where you have to slide it down or up to engage it. So next is the trigger, and trigger pull is actually pretty fantastic. Literally don't have to do anything. Usually I buy new triggers or modify trigger or make the trigger lighter, but this time it's just perfect, which is rare. That basically never happens. Almost forgot to mention that the pistol grip also has a little hidden compartment in which you can hide your cleaning supplies, maybe one bullet or some other random small stuff. For the optics I went with Holosun HS510C and a 3x magnifier, which was the best bang for the buck, and has a big front window so I can quickly switch between 3x and a 1x magnification. Like I mentioned before, because of the new gun law I can only have 10-round magazines, but now I can legally buy this, suppressors or silencers, perfectly legally without any paperwork or anything. I chose ATEC Science of Silence made in Norway. This is a 223 AR 30-4 suppressor, capable of suppressing the sound by 24 decibels. So a quick disassembly. First we move levers from the left side to the right to unlock it. One is here in the front, another one is here at the back. And now the dust cover comes off. Next we remove the handguard, but since this is a new rifle and it was so stuck, I literally had to use a piece of wood and a hammer to bash it open. Finally managed to get it open, but it still got it stuck. What can I say, it's a brand new rifle, so it could be expected. So finally got it out. This took me literally 20 minutes to remove it, quite unusual, but since then it works flawlessly, just first time stuck, that's all. So here are the inner parts of the gun. We have the upper part and the lower part, which is used for the gas piston to move left and right with gears. We have two recoil springs, and that's basically it. It's a simple design, but a genius design, which mitigates recoil. Basically means the gun should have less recoil than a 22. So, to complete the disassembly, we simply remove the recoil spring, and then the bolt assembly comes out. And with a little twist we can remove the bolt from the bolt carrier. It's basically a standard AK bolt. And this is how the lower part receiver looks like. It's basically a standard AK receiver with additional parts welded in, modified for the 223. Quite an interesting rifle, what can I say. Fun fact, originally made for the military in 5.56, 5.45 and 7.62. But it was rejected obviously because reasons and expensives. Originally named the Saiga Mark 107, then renamed to AK-107, and the final version for the civilian market was named the SR1. So here you can see it fully disassembled. Here I have my bipod, my suppressor, my optics, and well, all the parts apart. So to reassemble the rifle, do basically everything in the reverse order. We start by putting the bolt back into the bolt carrier. We put the bolt carrier back into the rifle, making sure that it locks correctly in its place. We insert the recoil spring. And we put the upper part with the gas piston back on. Making sure that the gears line up correctly. We put it back in its place. As you can see, it will not fit. All we have to do is cock it and it will jump in its place. The gears have to be perfectly lined up in order for this to work. We then simply put the front power back on. And the last part being the top rail, making sure that these little hooks correctly grab it. This is supposed to maintain the accuracy of the optics, which we will see if that is actually true or not. Mine is a little bit stiff. Since this is a new rifle, it's a bit stiff, so gotta have to disassemble it and reassemble this couple of times to get it a bit looser. And of course perform the operational function check to see if it actually works as it should work. And so we're off to the shooting range. Targets are at 50 and 100 meters, just so that I can check how the weapon performs. So here are the targets. First two shots, upper left, then I overcorrected, then here, and finally managed to get a centered group. This is the second one. I quickly fired and did a nicely group at 100. Not too bad. Then the third one, more accurate, so this is the best I could do whole day. And finally, this is the suppressor version. Interestingly enough, it went up and left. And this is how it looks like in operation. One piston moves forward while the other one moves backwards. So the best way to describe this rifle would be a really nice rifle with a recoil mitigating counter recoil masses synchronized by a pair of rotating gears attached to a bolt group. Or simply said, just a long slab of metal that moves forward when you shoot. So for the good things, the positives, first one, no recoil, obviously. It has even less recoil than a 22 LR, which is like WTF. I would say probably the best straight from the factory AK. Maybe I just got lucky and it's quite good. I've seen some horror cases when they are completely shit straight from the factory, but definitely the most accurate one. Following that would be, so far I had no jams, no problems whatsoever. It ate all the ammo I gave it, the cheapest one, and a little less cheap one, but I won't be using any more expensive ammo for this. That's only reserved for the good stuff. Another positive would be the trigger. I actually like it, straight from the factory. It's perfect, don't need to change it, don't need to touch it. It definitely draws attention. While I was shooting, a couple of guys were observing me and then afterwards asking questions and wanted to touch it and look at it and shoot it. What the hell is this thing? Because it's not very common in a shooting range. That actually might be a bad thing, but I consider it good because you can easily make conversation with someone. So far I had this rifle for a couple of months and I have to say it performed well. No problems that I can report, so it's reliable so far. But again, I only shot at it at 100 meters and didn't really do much else. So for the not so good things, the negatives. First of all, it's expensive. Second, it's quite heavy. The heaviest AK or AR platform that I could find or know about. It's quite a hard rifle to find and definitely not a cheap one. And gotta say, I'm not really a big fan of the new safety design. That's a big minus for me. I much prefer the old push-up safety. I noticed that the material used, the coating on the barrel, the black coat, is not that great. It's already coming off at some parts, so I'll have to get this redone. But hey, it's Russian, what can you expect? Not really easy to feel clean if it's dirty, so not really designed for that anyway. I would question how reliable this system is if it's soaked in water or dirt or mud, and how would this perform in the field? A little question mark here. So I did a little 3D scan of the rifle, but I left it in the sun and the top melted a bit, so yeah, my third AK. Can get them all right? So for the end, do I recommend this rifle? Yes, but on a condition that if you already have a couple of ARs, AKs, and want something interesting, more alluring, more difficult to find, and expensive, and if you can afford it, then yes. Otherwise, buy something you like. An AK, AR platform doesn't matter, and tons of ammo and training. But, I mean, I like it, and I would buy it again if I could find one. But until then, this will be a fine addition to my collection. My second AK, second Russian one, hopefully I'll get another one soon. Hopefully not the last one. And of course, thank you for watching.